Hey there, I'm Kaiju, and this is a story from a little game called Dungeons and Dragons. You might have heard of it, maybe not, I don't know. Specifically, 5th edition, for any of you curious. That being said, this does take place in an older module that our DM actually had to update and make compatible with 5th edition, called Journey to the Rock. Maybe you've seen it from the meme, here you go, it's on the screen now. The cast members of this particular story are our DM Steve, our Dwarven Thunderer Alex, our friend Vorthus playing a Drow Echo Knight, and myself, a Gnome Artificer. A very original character, I know, do not steal. Or I'll find out where you post your Sonic OCs and I'll downvote them. Oh yeah, there were also 2 DM PCs, but they were more like TM HM thralls in Pokemon. They just stayed in their Pokeballs until we needed them to pass a group skill check that frankly none of us were prepared for or statted to do. Their names were Goblinda, and shit, I actually don't remember his name. He was a gnome druid who could turn into a were-rat. I just called him Ratling every time I interacted with him. Shit, sorry Steve. So this module has this wizard, Lydrium Arcase, we're just gonna call him Arcase. And he wants to pay the party some gold to head up to the rock and learn its secrets and report back what you find. Sounds pretty simple. And in all honesty, a lot of these older modules really are. But like any adventure, there are challenges, obstacles, and puzzles to complete along the way that are going to offer both riches and perils. One of these challenges, and the subject of today's story, came to us in the form of a bridge over an enchanted river that just so happened to be working for the IRS. After making our way through the forest, the party is greeted by a bridge in a large river. The bridge has a stone archway with ancient runes carved into the top of it. It's at this point the party is supposed to decipher the runes to figure out how to proceed, or maybe opt to cross by other means. But, really, if you can't decipher the runes, you're kinda screwed. I mean, you're gonna try a couple things, and then ultimately, you're just gonna cross anyway. Luckily for us though, we actually had a dwarf. And this dwarf, unlike other dwarves, was completely literate and sober, so he was actually able to decipher those runes. And as payment, we were to give up either gold or any personal items that we had held dear, as a payment to the river gods or something like that. As the characters approach the bridge, 2 giant tendrils shoot out of the water and make a swiping motion towards the characters. If they want to get past, they gotta pay that toll. In an attempt to appease the river gods, Alex then tosses a coin to see the reaction. The tentacles lower a tiny bit, so he tosses in some pretty rocks he was given by a homeless schizophrenic we found wandering the woods. The tendrils lower a bit more, but it's starting to look like it's going to take quite a bit of gold to get through here. However, our other party members had different plans. Before any of us can even turn around, Vorthus is shitting and throwing it into the river, like some sort of deranged baboon. The river spirits did not much appreciate this. They both steepened the toll and reset any progress we had made towards it. Thank you, Vorthus. And I think seeing such a genuine display of return to monkey actually gave me brain damage, because for about 10 minutes I actually completely forgot that I was wearing a hat of wizardry, which, for those of you who don't know, it's a magic item that artificers can build with their infusions, and when wearing it you have access to the wizard cantrip list at the price of a DC wisdom saving throw. But I mean, who's gonna fail that except for me, like 4 times? I'm gonna kill myself. But other than that, it's a super useful item. You should pick it up if you're an artificer. It's a good time. And I'm sure some of you craftier folk already know where I'm going with this. In the wizard cantrip list, there's this beautiful little gem called Mage Hand. And Mage Hand is pretty much what it sounds like. It's a little magic hand that can go up to 30 feet from you. It can carry things, it can drag things, but it cannot hurt things. Well, at least not directly. Depending on your DM, they may or may not allow you to pick up things with the Mage Hand and then drop it from a great height, and then, obviously, gravity does the work there for you. So the hand isn't technically hurting them, but ultimately it's up to your DM to decide. That aside, I was finally able to wake up my only remaining brain cell and cast Mage Hand, to which I then gave it a handful of gold, well, a sack full of gold, and had it carry it into the river. Both of the giant tendrils had receded back into the river, alerting us that it was safe to cross, which we did at great speed, because we didn't know how long this was going to last for, if it could sense ill intent or not. And as soon as we make it across, I look my DM in the eyes and say I tell Mage Hand to come back to me with all my gold. Which it does. Which is basically the equivalent of that old dollar on a string trick, you know, with the vending machine so you get free snacks. Except, you know, the wizard's version of that. Because, I mean, wizards, we already gotta pay for spells and fucking materials. We ain't got money for food or anything or clothes or armor. I'm homeless, by the way. Before this campaign, I lived in the woods, in a tree. It's a pretty fucking cool tree, though, so, like, don't talk shit. Anyway, if any of you wanted to see how that played out, here's the clip. I just realized I have access to a fuck ton of wizard cantrips now. Okay, I have an idea. I want to cast Mage Hand, and I fill the hand with, put 42 gold coins into my Mage Hand's palm.
Yeah?
And have it clench it into a fist.
Okay.
I then have the Mage Hand go into the river.
Mm-hmm.
And are we good to cross now?
The pillars do go down.
So, alright, all of us get across the bridge.
Shuffle everybody over.
And then I get the Mage Hand to come back and give me back my gold.
The fucking pillars shoot right back up and start waving around angrily, and the river starts flowing faster and more violently, but you are out of range.
Alright, let's all boogie.
You cheap fucks. You're like fucking Bender.
And that has been my D&D story. Well, this episode anyway. I'm gonna have more. We're still in this campaign, and our DM said that the river will remember this, and it holds a grudge against me. So, we'll see how that plays out. Peace.